Hola, NEA. I'm Sonia Manzano. For more than 4 decades, I played Maria on Sesame Street. But before I was Maria from Sesame Street, I was Sonia from the Bronx. There I grew up in a tumultuous Puerto Rican household where, like most children of migrants, I walked a bicultural tightrope. It seemed we were invisible. As a child, I wondered why people like me were not reflected in the media. I wondered what I could contribute to a society that did not see me. But it wasn't until a thoughtful educator took me to see the movie West Side Story that I realized how profoundly invisible I felt. I was stunned when I saw what looked like my Bronx neighborhood so beautifully presented. Hearing a mambo in a downtown white movie theater thrilled me. Seeing a character who could have been Afro-Puerto Rican named Chino on the big screen made me wonder about race. But most importantly, I understood the power of art and how it could put you on higher ground. All at once, the problems I had every day seemed small. I made connections. I put the problems I faced as a poor kid attending inferior Bronx schools behind me, and instead set my sights on becoming part of that bigger artistic world. But even before that, another educator suggested something that made a huge impact on me. He suggested my overwhelmed mother read to me. My mother pulled her hair out saying, "Don't I got enough to do?" She declined, saying we didn't have any books. The educator suggested my mother tell me stories of her childhood instead. She did. And that opened avenues of communication between my mother and me as she told me about her harsh life as an orphan child in Puerto Rico. As her stories helped me understand her and the world she came from, I understood myself, and I understood the power of telling a tale. Those educators were Miss Pellman and Mr. Gitterman, respectively. What they did wasn't their job description, but it has made all the difference. My time on Sesame Street was one of the most rewarding experiences of my career. It gave me the opportunity to become an educator myself. Fans often tell me I taught them Spanish. The truth is, I taught them a few Spanish words. But I did something better. I pointed out Spanish culture to them. Some were inspired to learn more about my culture, and some gained pride in the culture they had. This past year has been hard for all of us. Through a pandemic, social unrest, and ongoing racial injustice, educators have been holding it together. That has not been easy to do, yet here you are committed to transforming the world one student at a time. You signed up for this summit because you know education is a two-way street. We learn from our students even as we guide them. It excites us to hear them come up with vibrant, different points of view. It thrills us to say, "Where did you get such an idea?" Because we know it came from themselves and the way they see the world. That is why this NEA Summit is so important, even as it has shifted to a virtual experience. I believe this virtual experience will give you the support you need to thrive personally and professionally, to transform the lives you touch, the same as Gitterman and Pellman transformed mine. So here's what I'd like to offer. First, I'd like to offer my thanks. Gracias for all you do. Second, see this virtual experience as an opportunity to tackle something from a different perspective, but using the skills that you already have. Third, Make a commitment that you will take at least one new idea away from the summit that will help you or perhaps your colleagues and students. And finally, never lose sight of the profound impact you make. Remember how when you might have looked into a crowd of preschoolers and asked, "Okay, who can sing and dance? Raise your hand." And they all raised their hands. Remember, you don't have to take students on their whole educational journey. All we have to do is reinforce the desire to learn that they are all born with. And finally, remember this. In the end, that's all we do as educators. Point something out to students as I did when I taught them Spanish words on Sesame Street, agua, cerrado, abierto, and watch them fly. Thank you. Have a great time at the summit.